speaking about the good things in the Sri Lankan culture. Now, today, what are the aspects of Sri Lankan culture and the values at Ananda that you carry with you, Doctor?
Again, that could be different to different people. If you ask different people, different Anandayans, old Anandayans, you might get a different answer. But to me, it is to be truthful, to be honest, and at the same time to be proud of who you are. One thing I always recall is at the assembly when Mr. Rajapaksa speaks to us. He had a very interesting gesture when he says we are Anandayans. He used to wear a white suit and Ananda tie, and he takes his hand and put his right hand under the coat and say we are Anandayans in a very proud way.
And welcome to another episode of Ananda magazine. And today we have yet another inspiring individual, a scholar, a proud product of Ananda College, who has taken the name of Sri Lanka into the globe. Today, it is my pleasure to be in conversation with Dr. Udaya Annakkage, who has more than 30 years of experience in teaching, research and consulting. His main research strength is in the area of power system control and stability. He received his bachelor's in engineering degree from University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka in 1982, and the master's and PhD degrees from the University of Manchester Institute of Science and Technology in UK in 1984 and 1987. Doctor, a very good morning to you, and it's an honor to have you here with us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on this program.
Doctor, so let's start the conversation by going back to your childhood. So tell us a bit about your family background and a bit about your upbringing.
Right. I have two brothers and one sister, and we lived in many different parts of Sri Lanka because my mother worked as a nurse and then later as a sister and a matron. So the nature of her job was to move from one place to another place time to time. So we traveled a lot in Sri Lanka.
So how did your early childhood experiences shape your personality? Now, you were on the move a lot, and I think in your professional career as well, you had to move from place to place, and with your accomplishments as well. So how did that shape you, especially the experiences that you had as a child?
Right. As a child, as I said, we moved around Sri Lanka, but going outside Sri Lanka, starting my professional life, I moved around the globe from country to country. As for the things I carry with me, things I learned from childhood and influences I had, I think the most important thing is the idea that my parents instilled in me that education is the most important thing in life. Everything else comes after that.
I think that's a very powerful message for all the children to have from such a young age as well, seeing the importance of education. So doctor, when did you actually became curious about science and technology? Was there any reason that or an inspiration that drove you towards science and technology? When did this happen?
Going back to early years, going back to early years, we just go to school and try to do our best. We don't know what our strengths are at the beginning, but one thing that I vividly remember is when I was in grade 8. At that time I was studying at Ananda College. Our mathematics teacher, Mr. Piyadasa, he explained to us, he taught us how to measure the height of a coconut tree without, of course, climbing the tree. And that was a lesson on trigonometry, and I understood it. And then I realized that I have this, interest and also the capability to understand these mathematical concepts. So that's, I think, the the earliest experience that I can recall of exposing myself to that kind of mathematical concepts.
Doctor, how now you got into Ananda College after the scholarship exam? Now I can relate to that as well. I also had the privilege of becoming an Anandian after the scholarship exam. So how was the change, and what were your most fond experiences at Ananda College after you arrived from Rahul College?
Right. It was a experience of, in my mind, coming from a small place to a big place. Even taking the bus to Ananda College, even those days, I saw it as big, busy city. Going into Ananda College, I came with a lot of hope and expectations, and in our class we had all the students from various different parts of Sri Lanka. So my class, it was grade 9B. That class, we had only students who came from other parts of Sri Lanka. So it's a very interesting experience. We all had something in common. That's we came from outside Colombo, and also we had similar expectations and goals. So that was a very, I think, life-changing point in my life, where I was exposed to a completely new competitive, academic-wise competitive environment.
And Doctor, apart from academics, you were very passionate about the game of chess.
Yes.
So let's tell everyone a bit about how you developed an interest in the game of chess and all the memories you had at Ananda College.
Right. When I talk about Ananda College, I cannot simply not talk about chess. It's pretty much part of my life at Ananda College. I was introduced to a chess club by a friend of mine, Vinitha Gamage. I always remind him when I talk about chess. In the chess club, I think I learned not just the game of chess. The game of chess, of course, is very interesting. You learn strategy, you learn patience. But at the same time, chess, I used to say chess is life, because experiences you learn on the chessboard, you can take it to your life, just like you copy and paste into your new situations in life.
And talking about chess at Ananda College, I think there's one unforgettable moment for you that was a great accomplishment. I think a feat that has not been done for a very long period of time. Would you mind sharing about that experience?
Yes, a Russian grandmaster, his name was Nikolai Krogius. He visited Sri Lanka, and one of the things he did during his visit was a simultaneous display of chess, where he played 80 games, and among those 80 there were top Sri Lankan players at that time. And Ananda College Chess Club got the opportunity to send some players to that tournament. So I just played my game and didn't know much about what this simultaneous chess is about, and even grandmasters, their level of chess playing strength. I had not much idea. I played my game, and at some point, grandmaster, he had a translator. He asked something in Russian, and the translator said, "Grandmaster is offering me a draw," and I accepted it. Then I went home, and next day in the Daily News sports section, there was an article about Grandmaster's simultaneous chess tournament, chess display, and it reported that there were 80 players. Grandmaster won 75 of those 80, and the remaining 5 he drew. And the newspaper article reported that among those 5 was a 15-year-old Ananda College schoolboy and my name.
I think to be offered a draw by a grandmaster at that age is truly remarkable.
Yes.
Doctor, so coming from a school that is deeply rooted in tradition, were there any traditions, any customs that were practiced those days in the school that you associated with back in the day?
Right. Now, to talk about that, I must actually talk about once again go back to my family background. And I said my parents always said education is the most important thing in life. And the other thing my parents always told me was to do the right thing. Don't be ashamed to do the right thing, but to be ashamed if you have to do wrong things. So that lesson that I got from my family, my parents, it's the similar messages I always heard from my teachers, principal at Ananda College. So that continued through, and I think that's one of the most important, strongest attributes I gained through my teachers, my family.
With the foundation you had at both Rahul College and then Ananda College, then you moved on to your university life, where you got into electrical engineering as a field of study. So let's talk a bit about how you got into that particular stream of education.
Yeah, that's something I always, even at this age, I think back and reflect, because I had a strong desire to go into science, to specialize in math and physics. And of course, I got that from my role models at Ananda College. Great role models like L.S.A. Vijayawardhan, Lal Samarasekara, Gayanath Fernando, Namunu Migoda, Shiran Nanakar, I can name many. Looking up to them, and also the education I got at Ananda College, I was more inclined to do science. I wanted to go to Colombo University and specialize in math or physics. It was difficult decision. Sometimes in life you make decisions, and only many years after that we discover whether the decision is the best, or probably we never know if the decision is best. Somehow I decided to go to Morato University to do electrical engineering, and that decision I think is somewhat a compromise between my desire to do math and physics and also to do something more applied, more practical, which is engineering.
Doctor, you started off with the University of Moratua, pursuing your bachelor's, and then you moved on to University of Manchester in the UK. Did you have to adapt to the culture, the traditions, the environment over there? How did you go about it?
Yeah, going to Manchester for my postgraduate studies was another turning point in my life. That was the first time I went outside Sri Lanka. I think my life at the University of Manchester, not only I learned my subject, my research areas, but overall I learned about the world, because University of Manchester was at that time one of the best for my area, power system engineering. We had students from different parts of the world, people who followed different religions. Outside classroom we used to meet and discuss a lot of things. So I think that period I had the opportunity to broaden my view of the world, my view of religions, and so on.
Doctor, you started off your professional life being a lecturer at university as well. What led you to pursue that choice?
That's a very good question, and my first of all, when my real passion was to do science and specialize in math and physics, and my goal was to become a university professor. But when I chose a slightly different route of doing engineering, especially electrical engineering. When I chose that route, I realized that I still have the option, the pathway to become a university teacher, become a professor. So that's how I ended up being a professor.
Doctor, throughout your professional life, you've been an avid researcher as well. In terms of your research and publications, what are the most notable things that you have done and contributed?
When I think about the most impactful contribution, I can think of two. The most impactful contribution was research that I did at University of Manitoba to develop some frequency domain techniques for analysis called dynamic phasor analysis. My PhD student was Chandana Karavita, now Dr. Chandana Karavita, and the work we did at that time is now well accepted, and I believe we were the first to show how to do that particular way of modeling the power system to do frequency domain analysis.
Doctor, most students are in a dilemma when they try to decide a career. Some want to follow the path of academia, study further, get into research, but some would want to maybe pursue a corporate career as well. So, can you share a bit about the field of academia and how the experience has been so far?
Yeah, I like to mention something that one of the spiritual leaders that I often listen to, Ajahn Brahm from Australia, and he is something that he states many times. I have heard in his sermons. We take decisions in our life, and whether the decision whether it's right or no, we don't know. So when you're at a junction in life, you always have you have to take decisions. If you take one decision, you go in one direction, or if you take the other decision, you go in the other direction. So I wanted to contribute to the industry as an engineer. At the same time, I had this passion to be a university professor and do research and train next generation. I think I was lucky when I came to University of Manitoba. I had the opportunity to, I was invited by a few people who were forming a consulting company. So I was invited to be a partner of that company. So through that, I had the opportunity to see real practical world problems that the industry is faced and how to solve them. So I had a bit of both. So although sometimes we think we take a decision and choose one path, sometimes they merge and we come to very happy, nice compromises.
Sometimes you have to explore the opportunities and figure out what makes you the happiest and figure out your passion.
Yes, yes.
Doctor, also you've juggled a lot of things from training to teaching and along with your research and administrative responsibilities as well. So one question I want to ask you is, how do you maintain your work-life balance?
Right. This is something often I get asked from sometimes my colleagues, sometimes even my own daughters, how do you do that? When I think of, then I reflect on how I do it, I realize that when I switch from one type of work to another type of work, it's a break from one type of work. So I can manage many different things, different projects I have in hand, different types of things. When I look at it as going from one project to another project, doing one thing to another thing, it's a break from one and starting another one. So that energizes me.
And doctor, based on your experience, now you lived in Sri Lanka as well as multiple countries, what are the differences in terms of opportunities, in terms of career, in terms of school of thoughts? What are the differences you've encountered so far when you compare Sri Lanka with the rest of the countries you lived in?
When I lived in Sri Lanka, I think this is true to many people. We think of only our culture, and our culture as the greatest and the only right culture. I think what I learned through my travel across the world, I studied at University of Manchester in England, then I worked at University of Auckland in New Zealand, and finally Canada. So UK, New Zealand, very briefly in Australia and Canada. I see good things in all these different cultures. A lot of things that we can incorporate to our lives and learn from those cultures. And I came across some wonderful people who are not Sri Lankans, the people of the countries that I have lived. So again, it's an experience of broadening my own view of the world, how I see the world. So that's, I think, is the biggest thing I gained by traveling and working in different countries around the globe.
Now, in different countries, like you mentioned, there's different cultures. So when you moved there, how did you adapt to these changes?
That is also related to what I did in different countries. In UK, I was just a student, so I get to see the student population. I didn't interact much with the professional community. Then going to Australia for a very brief period, it was experience of unemployment. I just moved as a permanent resident and looking for a job. For 6 months I didn't have a job. So then I belong to a different type of people, if you like, in the community, people who are unemployed and looking for jobs. And then in New Zealand, I joined New Zealand as an academic staff member. So that's again a different community. And University of Manitoba is very similar to the community that I associated with, professional community, academics and industry practitioners. One thing I learned, well, one of the many things, is people are people, whether you're Sri Lankan, New Zealand, Australian, people are people, and there are good things that you can take from different cultures. And I always tell my children when they were growing up, no matter where you go, always look for good things that we can incorporate into our lives, and there are things that we should not, so reject those. And there are things in our own Sri Lankan culture that we value, those are very precious, and keep them close to your heart. And of course there are certain things that we have acquired growing up, which compared to other things, other cultures, maybe we can replace those ones with what we have, so get good of both sides from Sri Lankan culture and other cultures, get good things from all cultures into your life.
Speaking about the good things in the Sri Lankan culture, now to date, what are the aspects of Sri Lankan culture and the values at Ananda that you carry with you, Doctor?
Again, that could be different to different people. If you ask different people, different Anandayans, old Anandayans, you might get a different answer. But to me, it is to be truthful, to be honest, and at the same time to be proud of who you are. And one thing I always recall is at the assembly when Mr. Rajapaksa speaks to us, he had a very interesting gesture when he says we are Anandians. He used to wear a white suit and Ananda tie, and he takes his hand and put his right hand under the coat and say we are Anandians in a very proud way. That I think had a big impact on me. As I was traveling around the world, I saw it as that what I learned from Ananda about that pride is something that I can expand and not just think that we are Anandians. When you say we are Anandians, a lot of things carry with that phrase. To be responsible, your integrity, honesty, and so many things. But you can extend that to think yourself as we are good citizens of this world.
I believe that goes a long way. Doctor, in terms of learning, it's a continuous journey. What does the phrase continuous growth mean to you, and what is it that we associate with continuous growth?
Right. The surface meaning of continuous growth is, of course, don't stop learning. It doesn't matter what age you are in, always keep learning. But to me, continuous growth goes beyond that. The learning is not just learning by reading books and watching any documentaries or any program, but outside that, there are so many things around us that can teach us, from which we can learn. Most of the time we don't see those. We just pass those very valuable things around us that can teach us. So for me, continuous growth is learning through conventional methods of learning, and also look around us, look around the world around us, and there are so many things we can learn from if you are mindfully look what's around us.
Doctor, you've been learning, teaching for decades and decades. So even after so many decades, how do you stay motivated and curious to learn more? What's the secret there?
I would ask that question myself, and how do I stop doing that? I don't know how to stop doing that because that's what I have been doing all my life, and I enjoy solving interesting problems. When I say solving problems, not just problem of mathematics or physics, but horror problems about say for example impact of certain technology on the society, or maybe a problem totally outside engineering or science, some social problems. So always solving problems, thinking about the problems excites me.
Doctor, as an Anandian who has made an immense impact globally to the fields of academia and research, what advice would you want to share with the young Anandians who want to go global and make a big impact?
First of all, I want to say that I haven't made such a huge global impact. When you think of there are many top scientists in the world. I'm obviously not among them, but everything is relative. But yes, I have made some contributions. And to young Anandians, my advice is, you learn, you can learn science or any other field. Use your knowledge in a responsible way. Don't forget that, as I said earlier, don't forget that we are good citizens of the world. So whatever knowledge that you learn, use it responsibly.
Doctor, if you look at the graduates in Sri Lanka at the moment, especially with your experience overseas, do you currently see a skill gap when you compare the local graduates with international graduates?
I get to see students coming from not only from Sri Lanka, from other parts of the world, coming to Canada to do their postgraduate studies. We say graduate studies in North America. One of the things I noticed with clearly with Sri Lankan students is their mathematics background is very strong, and lately computer programming skills are really good. So you ask me about the gaps, so I wanted to start with something very positive, and that marks clearly different from a lot of other students. But then if you want to talk about something that would have been beneficial along with those very strong knowledge and skills, is communication skills. That can take you a long way if you have good communication skills. Communication skills doesn't mean your language. To communicate effectively, communicate in a timely manner, those are very important things.
Thank you, Doctor, for sharing that. Doctor, now we've seen artificial intelligence has taken over the world. In your field of work, what are the disruptions caused by AI, and what can we predict in the future?
AI is a big topic these days everywhere in the world, and there are different opinions even among the top scientists in this area, whether we can reach human level intelligence, what they call artificial general intelligence, and people even talk about artificial super intelligence, intelligence going beyond the general human intelligence. My view, and I have to say that I am nowhere near those top scientists, but I have my own view. My view is one cannot reach artificial general intelligence, so human level intelligence, for a number of reasons. One is today's artificial intelligence tries to mimic how our brain works, but in reality our intelligence is not just the brain, it is brain and the mind, and to reach human level intelligence, I think one has to emulate not just the brain and the mind. Then the big question is when you try to emulate the mind, it's very individual. Mind of one person, how the mind works for one person is different to another person. So if you are able to emulate the mind, I think you are going to emulate the mind of an individual. So it won't be artificial general intelligence. So that's and the use of AI and any challenges. The biggest challenge I see is if you use artificial intelligence, because nowadays you can communicate with AI just like speaking to a person because of those very good language processing capability of large language models. So if you use that type of AI to learn new things, I think that's a risk, because those models don't have intelligence in my view. But my advice, what I suggest is use those new technologies, AI technologies, to make your work more efficient, not to learn from AI. You have your own knowledge, your experience, keep developing your own experience, don't rely totally on AI, but use AI to improve efficiency, because a lot of time in our work life we repeat things, we do a lot of mundane things. You can get that type of work pass down to your AI tool and use your precious time to learn more. That's what I suggest.
Doctor, if I ask you to name 3 skills that will put young students in front of everyone else, what could be those 3 skills?
Because when you asked that question, I was just thrown back, because the answer depends on, you can think of the answer, focused on a particular area like engineering. If it is engineering, what are the 3 big strengths you need?
But in general, maybe focus on could be attitude, or apart from academics, what are the other skills that would actually help them progress?
But in terms of 3 skills that are general to any field of profession, any walk of life, I think is to be punctual and keep your word and be honest. And those 3 things can take you a long way. And if there are gaps in those 3, I think that can one day become the barrier for you to go forward in your life.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for sharing all of that insights as well as your experience with all of us. So today we were in conversation with Dr. Udaya Annakkage, and I think there was a wealth of knowledge that was shared with everyone. If you're very keen on pursuing a career in STEM, I think there was a lot of information, a lot of experience that was shared with all of you, and especially the challenges you might encounter when you go abroad to work or even to get your education. So thanks a lot once again, Doctor. It was a pleasure to be the moderator of this discussion, and thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll be back with yet another insightful discussion. Thank you very much.
And also thank you very much for having me on this program today.